I just when we were singing songs, I just felt like all kinds of love in this place. It's just an amazing, amazing thing that no matter what's going on, the struggles in the world, it doesn't matter because I truly believe that love will always overcome evil and just the hardships. I'm going to try to tell I'm going to try to tell some of my story, and I want to just represent God's grace. I'm going to try to hold it together, but God's grace, His love and His mercy, because where I'm at today had nothing to do with my actions or what I did or what I failed to do. I'm going to go through the past quickly, hopefully, because I think I have to do that to really get an appreciation of where God has brought me and my family today. I was born in Toms River, New Jersey. My father was alcoholic. My mom was doing okay with us as a single mother. She got sick. 9 years old, I wound up in a boys' home in Denville, New Jersey. So that, that's, where the abandonment started. Basically, everybody that was supposed to take care of me in my life didn't. So as a boy, with nobody else feeding him the good news or anything positive, that kind of sunk into my soul. So with that, the trust issues started, and the stories the feelings are more important than the actual details of the story, I believe. But I was in the boys' home till freshman in high school, and during that time I had a sponsor family that would take me on weekends and holidays. Great people, beautiful, beautiful people. And God put them in my life with no doubt in my mind. The first time in my life I felt true love. And the family, I never saw them arguing, they never yelled, they all had the utmost respect for everybody. It was just truly amazing. And something I wanted to be a part of. Then freshman year, I went back to my real family and I tried to make it work. I tried to get a job, and I thought I was responsible for everything. And I wasn't. It didn't work out, and I was going to leave. And I went to my guidance counselor, and they called my sponsor family, the Lettings, their last name is. And they took me in as a foster child through my high school years, which, again, I felt like a borrowed family, kind of like a mom. I knew they loved me, but again, I didn't feel like I deserved their love. I always felt like a charity case. For me to tell you my story is a miracle within itself, because I never did. I didn't want your sympathy. I didn't want anybody to feel sorry for me. So I went in the Marine Corps after high school. They raised me through my high school years, and again, just great people, just love and compassion, and always took time for me and for anybody. They always reached out, and they really had something that I wanted. But my senior year, I figured they already raised a family. I said they don't really need. They don't need me to be. I just felt like a burden all the time, my whole life. I just felt like a burden. And not because of their actions at all. And then, so I went into the Marine Corps. They told me I didn't have to, that I was welcome to stay there. I was their son. Everybody knew that but me. I wouldn't accept it. A lot of resentment with my family, my grandmother. I spent a lot of time with her, abusive, just the normal stuff. Not normal, but. So I went in the Marine Corps. I was starting to get in some trouble in the Marine Corps, and I just stopped calling. I was drinking, I was fighting, I was getting locked up. At this time, I'm just an angry man, full of hate, anger, resentment, and the Marine Corps loved it. And I think it worked for me at that point in my life. They loved it. I was an animal. They loved it. Everything was working out great. So I stopped calling, and so pretty much for the past, I was fed just lies, and I believed them. I had nobody else to tell me any different. So I believed all the lies. I believed my purpose and my identity was to be an animal. Unfortunately, through all that, I hurt a lot of people. That's all I knew, and it kept me safe. The angrier I was, the more crazy or aggressive I was, the safer I was. So 20 years goes by, I'm not talking to my foster family. I met my wife, Carrie, approximately 15, 16 years ago. She met me when I was still drinking. I'm a child of God, but I struggled with alcoholism for most of my life because it made it all go away for a little bit, and I was okay with that. I was okay with the temporary fix. I knew I was an alcoholic. I didn't care. But I met my wife, Carrie, and she stuck by me through horrible, horrible things. And it's only by the grace of God. Carrie's always had God in her life. Always. And through that, she stuck by me, and it wasn't easy. So towards the end of my addiction, my stepdaughter, Erica, hated my guts, rightfully so. And we had my daughter, Brooke, and I always promised myself that I would never do what the old man did or act like the old man, but I turned into the old man. I was my father. Then in the end, the thing that changed my life, where I truly prayed and I didn't take it back, I got accused of hurting my little girl, Brooke, and it was a wrongful accusation, but a pretty serious one. And I was drunk and pulled up for about 5 or 6 days in a row. My mind wasn't clean. I was in a bad place when this went down. And I'm not saying this for shock value, but this is where it brought me. My only solution and my only hope was to come. I went to Jersey to say goodbye to my real mom because I wasn't still in contact. I didn't reach out to my foster family. They would have took me back and helped me. I just didn't. I went back and I said goodbye to my real mom, my real sister, and my plan was to come back to Pennsylvania and commit homicide and to kill myself. And I was okay with that. And I didn't have any, I believed I was in such a poisoned place and an empty place. I didn't know what else to do. There was no other option. It wasn't like I was thinking about 2 or 3 different things. That's the only thing that I knew how to do or what to do. They were going to take my daughter away from me. And somebody had to pay. That was my mentality. I was full of ego. So I was in Jersey. I was in the bay, and I prayed. My niece was with me. 3 little baby ducks were swimming around. I was feeding them out of my hand. And then I just started crying. I just broke down, and I prayed to God to please take this from me, because the accusation was false, but that situation would have never came into my home if I was doing the right thing, and I knew that. So I prayed, and I begged. And at the same time, Carrie was praying back home, she told me, to either get me better or to let her be able to live her life without me, but she just wanted me to get better. So I came home, that was in 2010. I went to treatment. I've been sober for 5 years now. I was 5 years last month. So now, here's to the victory part. See, I don't go back to that place anymore because I don't have to. I used to live in that place. The only time I go back to that place is situations like this, where maybe I can spread some hope to some people, or where I work or on the street. I'll go back to that place to kind of, for me to express the hope, I gotta express where I come from. So please, I don't live in that place anymore today. I used to. So now I'm 3 years sober. At the time, I'm still out of my mind. I'm not drinking, but evidently you can be a maniac without booze or anything else. Without God in your life, I believed in God, I was praying to God, but I hadn't accepted God in my life, and I didn't, truly, surrender. And I was scared, I wanted to call my fault. That piece was still missing. God, and there was still amends to make and a lot of work to be done. And I called my foster family, and they accepted me back, open arms, happiness, joy. We went down, I think, 2013 to see him for the first time in 20 years. Carrie, my wife, she wasn't my wife at the time. I always called her my wife because she just always was, you know. She was just always, only by God's grace. Just real short, just skip. You know, people look at me and they always say, I'm the rock and you've been through so much. And God, that woman sitting there, and I've met some people, is probably the strongest person. The strongest person, a woman of grace, of compassion, an example, so much stronger than I ever was, or ever could be. She accepted God into her life at a young age, and she is the most humble person I ever met. She's done so much, and she never speaks a word of it. Not a word. She's the mother of my daughter. And people ask me, how do you believe in God? Because I've seen it. I've seen it. I've been through the fire. I don't even smell like smoke today. I tell my story to people, and they're like, I can't imagine you ever being that way. And then you ask around, there's folks that know how I was. That's God. I forgot where I was. So I reunited with my foster family. My sister asked me if I wanted to go to church Easter Sunday. It's absolutely. And I've been to altar calls before. We go to church, the sermon's good, and I'm like, my foster sister is holding my hand on this side. I got my wife holding my hand on the other side. And the sermon was about the father's love for his daughter, and I'm thinking about Brooke and Erica, and I'm crying, and I'm breathing heavy. And I rose my hand, I accepted God into my life. And even at that point, though, I stood up, and I was just overwhelmed with emotions, and all this, I don't know, it was supernatural, man. And like everything dirty and bad was just flushing through me, and just tears were rolling down my face. I was huffing. I was going to walk out. I couldn't take it. But something came over me, and I just sat back down. I accepted God in my life. And I haven't turned back since. I was baptized. Well, about 2 months later, we were doing a baptism, and Brooke asked to be baptized. And at that point, I told her to ask the pastor. And in my mind, I was like, if the pastor comes up with some kind of man-made rules, like, I'm done. Like, I'm out. Because I was sick of man-made rules. Nobody came to me and spoke to me about forgiveness and love and redemption. Anybody I spoke to in the spiritual realm or religious or whatever was like with condemnation. You know, I would go to people, clergy members, and I need help with this alcoholism. I need God, and they were more aware that Carrie and I weren't married and we were living together, which I get it. But there's other things I need to do. I don't know. But that day it was different, and he accepted my daughter, and she got baptized, and it was an amazing moment, because at that moment was the first time I was really setting a good example for my 5-year-old at that time. She was 5. And then, so we went down to visit him a few times, and I have some things in here I want to read. I just get so overwhelmed. I'm just so grateful. And it's just, I start reading the Bible, and I don't know. I don't memorize it. I open it, and I pray that the Holy Spirit just comes into my heart, and I spend quiet time with my Father. And the Bible told me, it's in Psalms somewhere, I don't know the address, but it says something about, it doesn't matter if your father and mother forsake you. I'll never desert you. And I start reading more, and he's talking about love, and it doesn't matter that the price was paid on the cross. Nobody told me that. Nobody told me that. And it says I'm predestined for adoption and sonship through Jesus Christ before the creation of the world. So you're telling me I have a purpose? Nobody shared that with me. That's what we have to do. It's like I said, this is church. It's easy. It's comfortable here. I am so blessed because I don't care about being uncomfortable. I never have. But I'm able to talk to people out in the street and where I work. And I don't work for people, man. I work for God. And that's a blessing. I've never felt so, by His grace and His power. See, I love you guys. You don't have to love me back. I'm free from that. I'm free from myself. I'm the problem. I feel wrong because I allow you to make me feel wronged. I never knew that. I've been fighting my whole life. All I had to do was submit, surrender. I've heard it. Marine Corps don't teach you to surrender. Society doesn't teach you to surrender. That's where we got to be. We got to be on our knees with our arms wide open. Without wisdom. It says if you don't have wisdom, pray for it. I was wisdomless. Yeah, I don't know. Help me. That's all I had to do. It's simple. It's been complicated my whole life. People's lives. It's the simplicity of the gospel. I believe what is written here. And through that, I'm free. I'm free from myself. I'm free from you. I can love no matter what. No matter how you treat me, it doesn't matter. I can love you anyway. That's what I'm supposed to do. And it's so simple, and I'm just so excited. Like, they talk about the quiet time with your father. What? Until the one day I tried it. I've never felt such a sense of peace. They want to put me on all kinds of medication. I was scared, because they diagnosed me with all kinds of stuff. But I'm scared of pills. I'm scared of them, because I'm just scared of them. I don't want them. And I'm not saying they don't have their place, but for me, this is my medicine. And he proves, are you kidding me? I was an animal. I cheated on her. I abused her verbally, physically. Not only her, anybody that came into my life, because I figured you were going to hurt me, I'm going to hurt you first. And that's how I lived my life. And on the street, everybody loved it. But in my quiet place, without God, it was torment. Because I was never meant for that. And he just kept twisting me. And I kept drinking. And I kept hurting. It's all a lie. It's a lie. And through this book and through fellowship and through surrender, they told me you'd have life beyond your wildest dreams. Yeah. The best I could hope for was not to drink. There's so much more. And it's not stopping. It's not. Then, last week, I was sitting on my porch a few months ago, and God put on my heart, it's time to get married. See, because I never had anything that was whole. It was always kind of like a mother, or kind of like a father, or kind of like a family, or we're sort of married for 14 years, we're kind of married, might as well call it, no. I don't want a might as well, and I don't want a kind of anymore. I want to make a solid commitment before God that this is the woman for the rest of my life through everything. And that's what we did. And it was a great, great day because my foster family was there. My foster brother, who was a hardcore biker, is 20 years sober. Thank God, because he probably would have killed me after being gone for 20 years. He was there. He flew in from Florida. I had everybody that I had lost and that had loved me in one room at one place at the same time. And me and the woman I've loved my whole life are getting married. And the stepdaughter that hated my guts is crying, bawling, coming down the aisle with joy because I'm marrying her mother. And then you're going to ask me why I believe there's a God? You must be out of your mind. Follow me. And it's just an amazing, it's just truly, see, people allow just society and the world and to speak louder than the cross, than his love. All you have to do is believe. For me, I'm talking about me, that's all I had to do. But nobody told me that. I went to school, Catholic school, and I don't have anything against Catholics, but they never opened this book and said, you don't have a father? Here, let's go here. This is what your true father says about you. People need that. People need hope and everything. And when the very first, because I had resentment about the way I was treated, I opened up the Bible, and I think it was in Mark. He says something, if anyone should do harm to one of my little ones, it's better to have a millstone wrapped around their neck and thrown into the sea. I don't have to seek revenge. My father was a sick man. He felt like his family was better off without him, just like the way I felt my family was better off without me. This thing's about love. We just have to keep loving on each other. I'm not looking for acceptance anymore. And it's the greatest sense of freedom I've ever felt in my life. I've never felt so untouchable. Like even at work, there's all kinds of crazy stuff. It doesn't matter. I tell them, I work for God. I don't, whatever. I talk about God to the clients. What are you going to do? You want to know what worked for me? I'm going to tell you. And they love it. They try to come all hardcore, but they know that it's the truth. And through that, it's an amazing, amazing journey. And I wouldn't trade. I had to be broken to have the faith, and that I have today. And it's just an honor to be able to come up here, and I babble a lot. I don't take notes. I don't organize. I just kind of pray and hope the Holy Spirit kind of, you know what I mean? I'm not working on a commission. I'm not trying to sell anything. But I mean, what an honor. And that day was an amazing, amazing day. And my daughter is 9 years old today. Not that she's been 9 years old for a while, but I said before, like whatever touched me or whatever is not, that'll be avoided through her, because she's grown up in a house with love, and it's just amazing, the amazing transformation and the restoring of families and confidence, because that's what happens. We just feel abandoned, and it just grows. It's like a fungus. I don't keep secrets today. I don't, because they keep me very, very sick, and they keep getting bigger and bigger, and it's like a fungus. It's horrible. When I got married to Carrie, it was the first thing I walked into my life without one secret. Not a secret, clean heart, clean conscience, because there were other things I had to work on. There was a lot of things. But I worked on them. Because I didn't really work. I asked him to be removed. He removed me of my alcoholism. I believed he could remove other things in my life, and he has. Really has. That's pretty much it. That's all I got. And just thank you so much for the opportunity to be up here and to share my story. And it's just awesome. God is awesome. I don't fight anymore. I just keep submitting. I know His voice. They say I won't. The book says I won't follow a stranger's voice because I know His voice. I didn't know His voice before. I knew the stranger's voice very well. I know His voice today, and now I can recognize the strangers, and I won't follow that voice.
And let me interject for a second. I just learned from you, and I'm very proud of you. I did. I learned from you. So.
Thanks, man.
Thank you.
Mike knows me from my bad days. Thank you for showing up today. Thanks. Love you guys.
Hey, Rob, you want your phone? So, because my big fat body's in it right now.
That's tough.